The house where Mark lived was old, but familiar. Over the years of living here, he knew every landing, every peeling wall, every creak of the steps. Everything in this house remained unchanged. Until today. When he was returning from work late in the evening, something strange caught his attention. A new door appeared on the landing between the third and fourth floors. It was massive, dark, with a heavy metal handle. It looked older than the house itself, as if it had been installed decades ago, but for some reason it was only now noticed. Mark slowed his pace. He was sure that this door had not been there before. Maybe the neighbors decided to make a storage room? But why had no one talked about it? Curiosity got the better of him. He ran his fingers along the cold surface of the door. There was no apartment number, no lock, no nameplate on it. Just a blank door that appeared out of nowhere. When Mark tried to open it, the handle wouldn't budge. And then he heard a sound from inside. Weak, almost inaudible, as if someone was standing on the other side. And breathing. The next day, everyone in the building was talking about the strange door. The neighbors were whispering on the landing, making guesses, but no one knew where it came from. The housing management claimed that there shouldn't be a new door. Some assumed that it was an old storage room that had been forgotten. Others joked that one of the neighbors had installed it as a prank. But no one dared to go in. No one, except for Victor, the man from the fifth floor, who had always been a skeptic. Nonsense, he chuckled when he heard the neighbors talking. A door like any other. Let's just look inside. He took hold of the handle and pressed it. To his surprise, the door opened right away. It didn't creak, the lock didn't stick. It just swung open without a single sound. There was a room behind it. Empty. Bare concrete walls, floor, ceiling. No furniture, no windows, just absolute emptiness. Well, there you go, Victor grinned. An ordinary utility room. He stepped inside. At that moment, the door slammed behind him. The tenant screamed. Someone rushed to the door, but it did not open again. A dull knock was heard from inside. "Hey, open up!" Victor pounded on the door, but the sounds became quieter. As if he was moving away. As if the room was going deeper, pulling him inside. And then there was silence. When one of the neighbors tried to open the door again, it did not give in. Someone ran for tools, someone called the police, but when the people returned, the door was gone. In its place, there was only a blank wall, as if it had never been there. And a few nights later, in the silence of the entrance, the residents heard a knock. Dull, measured, as if someone was beating on the door from inside the wall. The residents of the house discussed Victor's disappearance for a long time. Some said that he had simply left, deciding not to tell anyone. Others whispered that it could have been an accident, that perhaps he was stuck somewhere inside the walls. But no one could explain the main thing. Where did the door go? It disappeared without a trace, as if it had never existed. Days passed, then weeks. The residents began to talk less about Victor, gradually forgetting what had happened. After all, people do not like to think about what they cannot explain. But one rainy night, Mark, returning home, saw it again. The door was back. It stood in the same place, massive, dark, as if nothing had happened. Mark froze in place. The handle slowly turned on its own. A quiet knock came from inside, and then a voice. "Hey, someone open up." Mark felt his blood run cold. The voice was too similar, too familiar. But there was something wrong with it, as if Victor was still there, but not the same as before. Mark slowly stepped back, not even breathing. The door was waiting, and someone would definitely open it that night.